Hi guys, welcome back. I am here 30 days, actually 31 days after trying the Supergoop Daily Dose SPF and Vitamin C Serum. So I wanted to do a very timely 30-day check-in because I think it's important to kind of show any results from something that has as big a claims as this does. So I'm here to do that. I've got before and after pictures, I've got my final thoughts, and I'm just gonna lay it all out. So let's get into it right now. So on my face right now, I just have the SPF. I do have a little bit of like blush and mascara, and that's about it. So you can kind of see any discoloration or anything like that on my face right now. But I'm also going to insert some before and afters throughout this video because I think they're very important to see. But let me just go through, I'm going to just make it short and sweet and go through the pros and cons and then kind of my final thoughts on this SPF. Okay, so the pros. This actually took me a while. We're not starting off on a good foot with that. So the pros of this are that it has a beautiful, beautiful shine to it. As you can see, I'm nice and glowy, and this glow really does last quite a long time. I would say pretty much throughout the day, and it does last under some makeup. Now, I don't wear a full face of makeup. I don't wear foundation really at all, so I can't give you my thoughts on what it looks like under foundation. If I am wearing makeup, it's usually just going to be concealer and either a cream bronzer or a cream blush. So I really don't wear a ton of makeup. So again, I can't give you my thoughts on it under that, but I can tell you that it does have this glow throughout the day, which is really nice. Now, if you have oily skin to begin with and you don't want to glow, this is definitely not the sunscreen for you. I would also caution people in the summer. This might be way too much. I know personally this would probably be a lot in the summer because I'm already going to have that shine. So it's not going to be for everyone, and it's not going to be for all the times of the year. Okay, and those are my pros. That it has a nice shine and it does sit pretty well under makeup. But I have to put a little asterisk beside that last one because it's actually a pretty big asterisk. It sits well under makeup, but only when you use the right amount of this sunscreen, which is one of my biggest pet peeves with any sunscreen, but especially with this. You can only, I guess we're going to get into the cons right now. You can only use a small amount of this. I believe on the website it says maybe like 4 to 5 drops, and that's for your whole face, and that's not enough sunscreen. If you watch my first video, which I will link above, 4 to 5 drops is really more like a 1/16 of a teaspoon, and I did the actual like squirting it out. And I squirted out the exact amount to put into, I believe it was 1/4 of a teaspoon, and you really should be using either 1/4 to 1/4 of a teaspoon on your face and neck, which seems like a lot, and it is. And this does not work with the proper amount of sunscreen that you should be applying. So let's get into the rest of them though. I think that my biggest issue, and this is kind of across the board with all of the cons that I have with this, is that this does not work if you have too much. So if you put too much on, it starts pilling, especially like on the sides of your face. I even had it pill right here, which is pretty terrible. And that's not because I didn't rub it in. I always rub it in. That's not really the issue. The issue is that it's just not meant to be used in the amount that I would like to use it. I like to think of this as like a primer sunscreen, or just like a primer, I guess. And if you think of it like that, I think it is more, like it really works better. But if you think of it as your only sunscreen and you're only putting a few, 3-4 drops on, you're not going to be getting enough protection and you're going to have to reapply. It's not going to lead to the results that you want to see. Another thing about it that I don't love is how sticky it is. So as you can see, also I had a picture earlier that I was trying to take, and I had like, see how the hairs just stick to your face? Everything sticks. It never sets down. It doesn't dry down at all. And again, in the summer, oh, see, it's still there. In the winter, it's okay, but in the summer, oh my God, I would lose my mind with that. So it definitely does not dry down. I kind of mentioned this before, but I think a really disheartening and kind of dangerous thing that this Supergoop does is it encourages people to use less sunscreen than they need to use, and that is a huge issue for me. So to make it work, you really only need a few drops, but at the same time, you should be using way more to get the proper SPF coverage. So that's a huge issue. And I don't love that they don't really explain that this is like a primer sunscreen. This sunscreen should go on before another sunscreen. Is along the lines of that, I had a huge issue with any other skincare being used with it, which as a skincare formulator and lover, and just someone who cares about their skin, that is pretty problematic to me. I tried this sunscreen so many different ways. I tried it over my normal serum and moisturizer. I tried it over just a moisturizer. I tried it over a serum. I tried it in every sort of way. And then finally, I was getting to the point where I honestly wanted to stop. I really did not want to use this for 30 days. But I finally got to the last week and I was like, you know what? I'm going to just try it on its own. So I would wash my face and then I would just put this on, nothing else, which to me is like, no serums. But you don't need those things. And it did work. It worked way better. Now, when I put 7 to 8 drops on, it did not work still. But when I put 3 or 4 drops, let it dry down, and then I would put another sunscreen over it, it worked pretty well. But that again means that it's to be used as a primer sunscreen. So I would recommend, if you do like this and you want to keep it, use this and then use another sunscreen over. Which it's like, I mean, you're getting more protection, but why are you going to spend $46 and then another however much on another sunscreen? To me, that seems kind of pointless. Okay, and my last complaint. I know I have a lot of complaints. If you couldn't tell, I don't like this stuff. It gets a big thumbs down, even with a Band-Aid on it from me. But the last thing that I wanted to mention, and this may not be an issue for you, but for me it is, this lasted 30 days. On my 31st day, which is today, I mean, I got some out, but if you could see, it starts to get hard, and I don't know what to do with this. I'll put it on my hand. Your hands need SPF too. I can tell, like, can you hear that? Yeah, me neither. There's nothing in it. So it really did last about 30 days. And Supergoop is kind of tricky. They have their like subscribe and save thing where if you sign up to get every 30 day, like a subscription every 30 or 60 days, you get a few dollars off. And this is definitely one that you would be repurchasing every 30 or so days if you're using the right amount. If you're using 3 to 4 drops, it may last you a little bit longer, but hey, you may be getting some sun. Ugh, now my hands are all sticky. Oof. Okay, and my very final thoughts. If you could not tell from the rest of this, it's not worth it. Please don't buy this. I think it's a gimmick, and I think Supergoop knows it's a gimmick because honestly, if you love vitamin C and you see really great results for it, just stick to a vitamin C and then a sunscreen. This is basically giving you a half-assed version of both of them, and I don't think that is great, especially not for $46. So if you look at my before and after, you can see that there are some areas on my face that look a little bit better, but the main areas where I do have some kind of melasma and dark spots would be my forehead, and I don't think that looks much better. Sunscreens need to work in my daily life. I don't need to be fighting them. And to me, I think I could probably get exactly the same results if you consider these results using just a vitamin C serum and then sunscreen. And furthermore, I honestly, when people ask me if I'm ever going to formulate a vitamin C serum, I usually say no. One, it's a very tricky thing to get right and you don't want to mess it up because it can go terribly wrong. But two, I think vitamin C serums are a little bit of, I don't want to say a gimmick because some people really love them and they do work, but I think we think it's going to do more for us than it is when sunscreen is really going to be the biggest thing. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't get rid of kind of melasma or dark spots in another way. I definitely believe in chemical peels and chemical exfoliation. Those are two things that I have had a lot of luck with, especially with melasma. Melasma never goes away, but chemical peels and, like I said, chemical exfoliants like AHA, BHA, those types of things, you can see noticeable differences, and it just takes a lot less work. Like The last thing I'm going to say about this is if you do love it and if it is giving you the results that you want, I think you really should be layering this sunscreen. Just think of this as a primer, like a literal makeup primer, where then you put something else on. You put your sunscreen, your makeup, everything else. If you use this alone, I'm a little worried that you wouldn't be getting the right SPF protection. So that's just what I would do if I'm going to try to use this up. I mean, I don't love it, but I don't like wasting money either. So I'm going to use it up, and what I will be doing from now on is using 3 to 4 drops and then my normal sunscreen on top of it. So that's fun. But I did want to offer a few alternatives because I think it's important to know that there are other sunscreens out there that are cheaper and do just as good a job, if not better. They don't have vitamin C in them, but like I said before, I think that's a little bit of a gimmick. Just buy a vitamin C serum and then a sunscreen and then you're good. But my 3 alternatives are the Banabaji. I don't know if I said that right. It's a Korean sunscreen. I love it. It's called the Milk Thistle sunscreen, something like that. I will post a picture here. And I will also put the links for all of these in the description. So we have the Banabaji Milk Thistle. We also have the Skin and Lab Free C Serum. So that one, I think they say that it has vitamin C in it, but they don't make as big of a fuss of it like this. But it gives you this beautiful glow. It dries down beautifully. It plays well with other skincare and makeup, and I'm very, very obsessed with it. And then the last one is the Shiseido Ultimate Sun Protector, which I just did a video on. I will link that above, and you can go check that out if you're interested. It's definitely the most expensive option, but it has a lot of pros to it, and it's a really beautiful sunscreen. So those are my 3 alternatives. You can just keep using your vitamin C serum and then use any other sunscreen. That's my main recommendation for you. So I hope this was short. I hope it was... No, it wasn't sweet at all, but I hope you got something out of it, and let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.